Chief Peter Collins from Fort William First Nation is advising that as of April the 10th, the community will move into lockdown for 2 weeks. Here's Chief Peter Collins with the announcement.
Good afternoon, members of Fort William First Nation. Those that don't know me, my name is Peter Collins. I'm the chief here at Fort William First Nation. I am in the council chambers with our CEO, Mike. We are separated by that 6 feet or 2 meters, and we're both going to give you a message today. I will start with my message and the decision from council as of last night. Your council will continue to work on many different issues to protect your community, and they have taken another step in a direction to protecting the community and health and well-being of all of us. So as of Friday, the fall will be in effect at Fort William First Nation due to COVID-19 pandemic and the seriousness of protecting the community. By way of motion last night at a council meeting, it was unanimously decided by all council, starting April 10th, 2020, at 6 p.m., Fort William First Nation territory will be shut down to all non-residents. Those working for essential business operating on and off reserve will be allowed in and out, but must be identified by our employer. And there will also be criteria that will follow that is being drafted by their employers, the conditions of their entry into their workforce with no actual connection with the community of Fort William. Fort William members and residents are strongly encouraged to avoid leaving Fort William First Nation territory, unless for essential medical purposes, and to limit social interaction to people who reside within their residence. Keep your social interaction with those that only reside in your residence, and try to connect with your family and friends in other ways and other means. All retail outlets will also be required to close on this effective date. The Mission Road Security Checkpoint will be moved to Bannon's Gas Bar and the intersection of Mountain Road, and also Chippewa Road. This motion will be reviewed in 14 days to determine any further COVID-19 response from Chief and Council. Again, it was a very challenging task for your council to make this decision, but at the same time, as we see the numbers grow in Ontario, as we see the numbers grow in Thunder Bay District, it's a very challenging time for us. And I know the numbers, we haven't had any cases in Fort William, and I thank God for that. As of today, still no cases in the community of Fort William, and we want to keep it that way. Again, very challenging time for your leadership, very challenging time for your senior management, and then trying to deal with every issue that arises as things unfold in Ontario, in Canada, in the worldwide situation that we all paying attention to, as the numbers have grown globally beyond 1.3 million to date, over 4,300 in Ontario. Those are astounding numbers, and if we can do our part, social distancing, again, if you can only stay connected to the families that are living in your residence, that would be great. If we need your support and we need your help to guide us through this situation, at the end of the day, I mean, God forbid we lose anybody, but we're going to do everything in the power of your leadership and your senior management to do what we have to do to protect this community. So again, on behalf of the council, your council, and your senior staff, we look forward to continue the work and the endeavors that we have. It's a very emotional time and a very challenging time to be leaders at the same time. But, at the end of the day, I mean, if we get through this without any casualties, it will be a better place for it. So your CEO has updates on their pandemic management plan that they've been working on day in and day out. So I'll pass it on to our new CEO here, Michael Pelche Jr. So thank you very much, Michael.
Hello everyone. As you know, I'm your new CEO, and you may have seen some of my memos and notices to the public go out over the past few weeks. I'm very glad to get back to Fort William First Nation, and I wish I could have got here sooner so that we could have prepared for this, or I could have prepared for this in my role. Planning for this started on day 4 of my employment with Fort William. So I want to kind of go through what we have been doing over these past 4 weeks, what we continue to plan on doing in the coming weeks. We have 2 actually plans that are in place for these kind of situations, emergencies, pandemics. So our first plan that we have is the emergency response plan. Now this covers off a lot of different emergencies in the community that could happen. Flooding was the last time that the emergency plan was activated. Pandemics is also one of the situations. So as part of that plan, there is a group called the Emergency Response Group. I apologize. It's the Community Control Group that is defined through the Emergency Response Plan. So we've gotten that group together. Now, what also is in play is the Pandemic Plan, which is a focused emergency response to specifically disease outbreaks. So these 2 plans, the emergency response plan and the pandemic plan, work together during this time in cases of disease outbreak. So we have a second group that is defined by the pandemic plan. They're called the Pandemic Planning Group, mostly health related roles in that group. But what we have done now is combine these 2 groups, the Community Control Group and the Pandemic Plan Group, into one emergency response group is what we've named the group. So that we have been meeting for probably close to 2 weeks now, week and a half in the emergency response group. Now before this, again, as stated, we have started our response plan close to 4 weeks ago, and the group mainly responsible for the response 4 weeks ago was our management team. So in day 4 of my first week here, I called together a management team meeting, emergency meeting to address the pandemic. I believe a few days before that, the World Health Organization called this a pandemic. So at that point, events started to escalate rapidly, which led to us closing our bingo and the arena. In week 2, I would say, we started closing down our essential or our band office, going down to essential services. Shortly after that, we closed the office to the public. And we continued meeting every day, management meetings in the morning, and then we had council meetings in the evening. So there's been a lot of work in both groups, management team and our council, on our emergency response. Again, a few weeks ago, we switched over from our emergency response from the management team to this emergency response group, which again covers those two groups as defined by the plans. So we've been meeting by video call. We see each other every day from each other's workplaces, whether that be from the office or working from home. So we do meet. We plan on publishing our minutes on our website. So we hope to give the community updates on what we're doing. Also, we've actually created a section on our webpage around our COVID-19 emergency response. So if anyone has any questions, there's a lot of information on our website. You'll get updated information from our emergency response group, which will be coming in the coming days. Another thing we're developing right now is a call center. There's a lot of things that we're preparing for in anticipation of the increased travel restrictions, which will be going in place, as our chief just detailed to you. So there's a lot that we are planning for this week. We are looking at a food distribution program for people on the reserve. We are looking at a sort of delivery service for members that live in the city. Again, this program has been developed over the last week or two. We're finalizing this program and we'll communicate details in a notice to the community over the coming days on, food security during the lockdown. So we are thinking about that. How it's kind of going to work is we are prioritizing groups of people according to their disability, if they have a compromised immune system, if they are more subject to the disease. Those are the people we want to focus on first. Now, there's a big question out there of on reserve or off reserve members that live outside of the city of Thunder Bay. So we are getting new emergency funding every week, which is opening up a little bit. So we are looking at our off reserve members outside of Thunder Bay in some sort of assistance. It might be a little difficult in getting food packages out to these people in terms of the mail. Maybe a little bit cost prohibitive, but we might consider some sort of financial assistance in replace with that. Again, this is under development right now, and we're continuing to discuss with council on finalizing that. Again, we will communicate that to the public as soon as we can. So we got the call center. There will be a phone number that people can call with questions around anything, notices that come up around the food distribution program. We will be publishing that on our website as well. We have set up an email address that people can email. As a management team, we are finding that each of our managers are getting a lot of questions, so we want to get that through a call center and email address. To help alleviate some of the pressures around our managers and to focus our answers to everybody, so everyone's getting the same answer and not different answers from different people. Now, just as a final remark, I just want to say that this is a developing program. The pandemic that we're in has never been encountered by anyone, I believe, in Canada, like this type of pandemic. All our pandemic plan has never been activated before. So this is basically the first time that it's actually being used. And that is causing a little bit of problems and, policies on, running into some problems. So we're continuing to develop our plans and our response accordingly. I just ask for everyone's patience during this time. There are going to be some hiccups on, us getting a proper response to everybody. But we want to get there as soon as we can. Everyone is the top priority, our band members. We want to make sure we get to the right people first so that, if people are sick, we want to make sure that they're being helped, self-isolated and such. So again, just apologize for anyone, any inconvenience this may cause anyone in their daily lives. But please note that, our lives will be changing a little bit even after this is done. So change is coming, so please accept that. Thank you everybody for listening. Pete wants to get back onto the comments, so see you later.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you for the update for the community members. A somber moment. I want to pay respect to the loss of one of our seniors. Bill Primo passed away last Thursday, and our prayers and our thoughts go out to his family. On a happier side of things, our 14-year-old young man, Zep Purvis, has returned home from his lengthy stay in London, Ontario region there, dealing with his health issues, and he's now returned back home. So to his family, we're happy to have him back home. We're glad he's back home, but we also want you to be mindful and to keep the young man safe and keep your family safe at the same time. So again, welcome back, Zet, and to the Primo families. Our prayers and our thoughts go out to you all. I know it has been a challenge for your family when you lost Bill and not being able to be with him. So again, our prayers go out to your family. So on behalf of council and all of our members here, we wish you all the best in the next coming days as you send Bill on to the spirit world. So again, folks, have a good day, and look for further updates from myself and your CEO, Michael. Thank you.
If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video, and keep up to date on what's going on.